Hey, I'm Coach Mickey, and I'm so glad that you're here and welcome. And if this is your first time joining us on Coach Mickey and Friends, come on in and make yourself comfortable. And for those of you that join us on a regular basis, we are so glad that you do. And we're glad that you're here. And as you can see, this is a pretty easygoing podcast, and we're very comfortable about what we do. We embrace the mistakes, we embrace the sneezing, the coughing, and whatever else happens on this show. But I'm really glad that you're here, and I want to thank so many of you for your comments, questions, and your suggestions. And the fact that so many of you reach out to my guests that are on here. And today is going to be so much fun. And this is a well needed podcast today because just recently, even myself, but also a lot of the women that I've been around, and then also the fact that this Nancy is one of my dearest friends. She's an amazing person, amazing individual. She's very genuine, authentic, and compassionate. And if this is a place for you to go to and feel confident and comfortable with, Nancy's going to be your person. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to jump right in because what she has to offer is going to enlighten so many of us that are looking for specific things that we need in our lives. So Nancy is a teacher of life. She is a life sensei, and she is the founder of the Dojo, a space for awakened women who are ready to stop trying to fix themselves and start remembering who they truly are. And that's huge. So I'm just going to jump right in with this, Nancy. Oh, and before I forget, she is also an author. She's got incredible books. And as you guys know, if you're watching the YouTube channel, the links will be down below. If you're listening to the podcast, you can just click on her name, take you right to it. But she is the author of Secrets in the Attic, A Woman's Journey to Empowerment, Divorce, and there's many other things that she can tell you about that is going to help you and enlighten you wherever you are and meet you where you are in your life. So welcome, Nancy. How are you?
Hi, Mickey. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you. I always enjoy these conversations and how they unfold for us.
Well, I like what you have to offer. And your books, first of all, are very insightful. And I'm kind of starting with that because I know your most recent one was Secrets in the Attic. And that I know a lot of people have enjoyed, and it's been full of stories that are helpful. But also, the shift that is happening now, and you and I have had this conversation, and your books, I think, have been the gateway and the leverage to be able to get people to a certain area and a certain point. But I think when people finally remember who they truly are, I think that kind of takes us back a little bit. And then we go, oh, who do I tell? What do I do with this?
Yeah. There's this amazing uh, feeling of happiness and joy that is our true essence, our true being, the essence of who we are. And when we're not feeling that, that's an invitation to say, do you want to keep feeling kind of halfway, or do you want that bliss and that happiness and that joy? But I think there are so many people who are so used to pushing it down, that joy and happiness down. And then there are so many people who are realizing that they have these innate gifts and talents that they were born with, and perhaps like maybe not even realizing it till they're, I don't know, 40s, 50s, 60s and up, and they don't know what to do with it. They think, oh my gosh, if I tell anyone I can talk to angels, or I am a healer, or whatever it is. And it doesn't even have to be that. It could just be if I told anyone that I feel um, truly amazing, they're going to think I'm off my rocker. And I don't have anyone to talk to about this. And that's why I created the dojo, because those are the types of conversations that we have. And the dojo is a virtual place where we meet every week, and women gather to talk about a specific topic every week. And if you join us live, you get to be part of the topic and then the conversation that ensues after the topic. But if you can't join us live, I do put the topics in video form on my YouTube channel. So there is so much information out there, and wherever somebody needs to start, it's just so important. I want to use that word important, to really love yourself. If you're not feeling that love and joy of self, that giddy optimism, that giddy happiness and excitement and saying something really wonderful is happening for me today, then that's your opportunity to say, okay, why are you blocking that? And that's the that's the energy and the vibrational frequency that I enjoy living in.
And I like the fact that you're actually offering this because so many times I think we do something and we have this incredible joy or we feel enlightened or we feel like, oh my gosh, I really want to share this with somebody. And we don't have the people surrounding us to be able to do that. And you brought up a good point, which is a lot of times we stifle it. And I think sometimes that as us as women, we feel guilty that we feel happy or good about something when maybe things aren't going so great or things aren't happening, or maybe something's happening within our family life. And it's like, I mean, how can you be so happy when everything's falling apart? Or and it's like, within a split second, you can be up here and then somebody brings you down here. So we hesitate to share that excitement or that joy because we don't know if it's going to be embraced or if it's going to be taken away from us, or we don't have anybody to actually share it with. And so to have a place to go where that you have to offer is amazing because you get an opportunity to just come in and everybody that's coming in there has got something to share that's uplifting and is going to be applaud you and lift you up and be happy for you. And I think that's a huge thing that's missing right now in this world.
Yeah, and we can have these conversations and say, um, wow, I never really thought about it in those terms. And like I said, I pick a different topic every week. But last week, just because of something you said, what comes up for me is, we tend to think that we don't have maybe the right to be this happy. We look around and we see others are um, maybe not feeling well, or they're in an unhappy relationship, or they are unhappy in their job, or they're unhealthy, um, or whatever it is. And so we think, oh gosh, okay, so I need to kind of stifle my feelings because this isn't the time or the place for me to be really buoyant and out there and happy. When actually, your buoyancy and your happiness are what is going to possibly raise their vibrational frequency. So whenever we are contrasting, whenever we are limiting ourselves, we really are taking that opportunity not only to feel it for ourselves and limiting it, but we are also not giving to others who really need it. They really need that sense of effervescent happiness.
I love that. I read something somewhere. I forget. It was a long time ago. It was says if someone doesn't have a smile, give them one of yours.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. There you go. Even if people like, what the heck are you smiling about? Or you know and the thing is to remember, like, if you say to somebody, how are you doing, or have a good day, or how's your day going, and they're like, oh, not so great, it's not up to us to try to lift them up or raise them up. It's simply our only job, our only responsibility is our own self. So we can either allow that person to pull us down and lower our vibrational frequency, or we can just smile and say, well, have a good day. And if they're grumpy when we walk away, and that sounds easy to do, but when you're in a relationship and people around you don't understand this change, as we're awakening and really understanding what awakening means it's a continual process. It's just about awakening to who you are, understanding that you are the infinite being, that anything you want can and will happen in accordance to the way that you are putting it out there to the universe, what you believe to be true, the words you're saying. And our words have such a powerful vibrational frequency, and we use them so carelessly. When somebody says, hey, how you doing today? Well, I'm hanging in there. Oh my gosh, think about that. I'm hanging in there. It's like, and we that's just like one example. We really don't stop and think about the words that we use. And what's interesting to me, I talk to a lot of people and they say, oh no, I'm really positive. I practice affirmations. I'm an up person. And then they start to tell you how they have aches and pains and yada yada or I don't know, hate their job or whatever. And every word we say puts a vibrational frequency out into the universe. And that doesn't mean that we have to lie and say, things are going better than we think they are. But the truth is they are always going better than the way they think they are. And I hear a lot of people are like, where is God in all of this? When they lose someone close to them, like, where is God in all of this? And the thing is that I I I am seeing as well that that word God is such a trigger word for so many people. And whatever you call it, God, universe, infinite being, source intelligence. Uh, I have a friend who calls it Gus, God, universe, and source. So, whatever we call it, it's really that love of self, that infinite being within you. And when you really grasp a hold of that and feel it, and you're walking around in that state of bliss, oh man, you don't want to let that go. And if you're not feeling that, like, okay, what is the awakening that's going to happen for you? I know that my awakening came out in a big way during my divorce. And I was married for 32 years. And when I was going through the process of divorce, I call it 3 stages, thinking about it, going through it, and putting it behind you. But I realized looking back, I felt so much despair. And it's because you don't realize how much you hook your identity to what you're doing on a daily basis. So I'm not that wife, that mother, that homeowner. I'm not that job. I'm not that whatever. We are infinite being. We can do anything. And whenever something is blocking that belief, where you're feeling so much contrast, whenever you're accepting those invitations for unworthiness or unhappiness or um, just not loving your life, then that's an opportunity to say, you know what? I can keep accepting these invitations, or I can start declining them and start creating new things in my life. And that's the awakening continually, continually, continually.
And I like what you said in regards to these things that we attach ourselves to, because so many times, you'll go out and you'll meet somebody and they'll go, "I'm a chef. I'm this. I'm an accountant." It's like, okay, but who are you? Oh, I'm a mom. I'm a dad. I'm a sister. No, who are you?
Yeah.
So many people cannot answer that question. They can't. They get stuck on it because when they have to stop and think, who am I? It's like that's a loaded question. No, it's not. You just never really thought about it because you've let everything else dictate and put labels on you that you don't allow yourself to just be who you are, who you, like you say, who you truly are.
Well, and I think a lot of people feel that to really speak out loud who they truly are, like if someone says, "Who are you?" Um, for you to answer, "Well, I am the infinite being having a human experience," people could be taken aback by that. And it's a great conversation starter, if nothing else. But then if somebody looks at you and says, "Oh, aren't you high and mighty?" Or we just hide our light so many times under a bushel. We really do.
No, you're right. Be out of judgment too. Like, that's a good point. Because when somebody hasn't accepted that or they're on that same vibration or level, of growing, of self-growth, whether it's for themselves emotionally, spiritually, whatever the situation is, they're so quick to judge and like you said, oh, so you're so better than everybody else, or you're this. And it's like, what? That's the part. I think that's why we stifle. But
Yeah.
getting back to what you're offering, you're offering a place where people can come and be their authentic self and talk about these things and share these experiences and have something that's incredible in their life that's happening that they can go, hey, I really want to share this and talk about it, and then lift not just their vibration, but also everybody that's in that surrounding group. And people forget how powerful that is. When you've got a group of people, and I always uh I tell my guys, they always laugh. But we always think we're fragile. And I said, no, a snowflake is fragile, but look how intense it is when they stick together. They can
Yeah.
create an avalanche. And it's like I think the more times we try to come together, we become more empowered and more powerful in what we're trying to do. And even if it's just to spread joy and happiness, right?
Well, and the thing is that community can be so powerful, and yet community can be so stifling. So if let's just say in a family unit where you are awakening and really realizing your true nature, and those around you have not gotten there yet or are not interested in getting there, now you're in a position, right? Do you allow yourself to be this joyful, happy person who is awakening and loving her life? Or do you kind of tone it down, dial it down, and say, well, they're used to seeing me this way. And if I start being, I know when I was going through my divorce, I had people say to me, I don't think you really know who you are. I don't think you really know what you want. And these are people that had known me, for a very long time. And the thing is like, it took me a while to realize, like, oh, wait a minute. That's what you're seeing. That's your perception. And because I am shifting, changing, growing, expanding, you don't know what to make of it. So you think that it's all just nuts. And so everything is always about somebody else, really. So somebody says something to you, it's not anything to do with you. It's about whatever they're going through or wherever they are or however they're handling the expansion or the change or the shift. And, that's where you say you got to be really I was going to say selfish. And I think it should maybe be self-preserving and self-prioritizing and say, you know what, I'm prioritizing my own needs first and loving who I am. And who wants to join in can join in. And who's not ready to join in, that's okay too.
Well, again, this goes back to meeting people where they are,
Yeah.
because a lot of times they're not ready, like you said. But also I look at it this way. When you've got the courage to change your actions so you're bettering yourself and making things better, it also affects everybody else around you. And the ones that are going to embrace it were the ones that will accept you for who you are no matter what. And then there's the other ones that they're just not ready and they can't understand it, so they're never going to accept it, at least not at that time frame. And you can't force it. You can't make it. And like I said, I've had people say to me, "Oh, you're just going through a phase." No, I'm not. I'm going through a permanent change.
Yeah. Like a growth spurt, it's like, no, this is a shift. And once every realization that you have, it's like an unfolding. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So you can't go back. You can't put the lid on the pot anymore, nor would you want to, nor would you want to stifle yourself. And that's what the community at the dojo, think about any community. Why do people go to certain groups or have hang around with certain people? It's because they feel good in that environment. And maybe they weren't feeling on top of the world before they started hanging around those people, but hanging around those people helped them come out of their funk. And that's what it's all about. It's being able to be with a group of people um who get it. You can just say, you know what, I am feeling on top of the world. I am so happy. I am so blessed. I can't even think of something that I need. And everyone in the room going, get it, got it, totally understand it. You don't have to explain yourself. Yeah.
That's great. So, how can people reach out to you that would like to take part in this?
Oh, anything you want to know, you can visit me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Everything is there.
And then as you guys know, the links will either be down below, or if you click on Nancy's name, it'll drive you right to her website, and that'll take you to everything and every place, all her books and where you can reach her. And then if you want to take part in the dojo, that would lead you right to that also. So give us an example, Nancy. Like, so if somebody is saying, okay, I'm hearing this, I'm listening. So what can they expect? So when they come to, like you said, you always have a topic, and then you talk about. So what are some of the things that you would invite people to come? And now I know, let's just make this clear, because you're doing this as a women's group. Is that correct?
Yes, women only.
Okay.
Yeah. Not because there's any exclusion, but because it's just been my experience that women share differently in a group where there are only women in the group. So, who knows? Maybe one day it'll be men and women dojo, and that'll be a whole different experience. But for now, we're keeping it this way. And things to expect. Well, you know what? I think it's that weekly confirmation of self, because we're going through our day, right? And we have highs and lows. And one of the things that one of the members, and I think she says this just about every week. It's so fun. She says, you know what? Every week I look forward to coming here. I never know what to expect. I never know what I'm going to get out of it, but it never disappoints. And I always feel so good having attended and being here and being around you women. And not to put any labels on it, but I think that's a great way to say it.
I love it. That's great. I mean, that's pretty awesome. It's a place, again, where you feel confident, you can feel safe in a safe environment, and be able to share. So I'm going to let you wrap it up, Nancy. I don't know if we try to cover as much as we can, because you've got so many things. And I know you've been on my podcast multiple times, and each time you always bring something inspiring and uplifting. So I'm going to let you wrap up the last 2 minutes of whatever you want to share.
Well, thank you. I think what I would love for everyone to take away from this is, do you love yourself? And do you really have a definition of what that love is? Because when you love someone and you look in their eyes, don't you just go all wiggly and melty and like, ah? And so the question is, can you look yourself in the mirror, look yourself straight in the eye, and just feel that love of self? That is so amazing. That is such a gift. And if you're unable to do that, ask yourself why. Why is that? Because there's an invitation that you keep accepting into unworthiness, and it's really time for you to get off that ride, right? It's just like being in an amusement park and getting on the same ride. I hate that ride. It makes me throw up. It makes me uncomfortable. And yet we get on the ride again and we get on the ride again. But you have the power to step off the ride or decline the ride at any time. That's what my invitation would be.
Well, thank you, Nancy, for being with us today. And for those of you, please reach out to Nancy. I think this would be something that would be a huge asset and bonus in your life, to be able to share and just be your true, authentic self. And I'm grateful for you, Nancy. I'm so thankful that you offer so many things that you do, and who you are as a person, and how you've helped so many people through the years.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you for having me here. It's always wonderful to be able to share in conversation. Thank you.
All right, you guys, thank you for being with us today. And again, please remember, the links are down below, or click on Nancy's name. And if you want to reach out to me, also, you will find my links also down below or within the podcast right at the bottom. And remember, the most courageous thing you can do is be yourself. Until next week, I'll see you.
This episode was brought to you by KeepOnSharing.com. They're calling themselves the first truly ethical social network. They'll share back 50% of their revenue with their users, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's free to register, and they never sell your information. You can list your products, events, and content for free. Adult content accounts, be gone. They're fun, positive, and encouraging sites supporting local business. In a day and age where social media sites, even well-established ones, are being brought to light left and right for their questionable and sometimes downright archaic business practices, KeepOnSharing.com is a well-needed breath of fresh air. While you can share personal content, news articles, or just about anything for fun and profit, the marketplace allows practically anyone to sell anything at any time from anywhere. But on this site, you are the boss. I cannot express how amazing it is that KeepOnSharing.com shares 50% of all revenue back with the users, on top of having a truly transparent, supportive, and clean business model. Check them out. I'm signing up. Will you? Go ahead and meet me on there. Just go to KeepOnSharing.com. A link will be provided in this episode's description.